Now what will it be? Death or exile?
I've been loving you.
Hi guys, welcome to another Film Exiles review. Today we'll be talking about Marriage Story, the Netflix original drama directed by Noah Baumbach and starring Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson. This one has a lot of awards buzz. It's really buzzy in the film festival circuit, awards contention, all that good stuff. So, it was one that I had high up on my anticipated list, and I definitely watched it with an eye towards its prestige credentials. So let's see whether the movie is good enough to win awards, whether it's just decent, or whether it's terrible. So the movie is about a stage director played by Adam Driver and his actor wife who, struggle through a grueling coast-to-coast divorce that pushes them to their personal and creative extremes. Though the title is Marriage Story, it's more like Divorce Story. And this makes me think, did they think the title Divorce Story was way too grim or unattractive? Did they think they needed to smooth the edges and soften the blows in order to sell the movie? More on that later. In this film, the couple goes through a divorce, but it's a somewhat amicable split. There is no one that's fighting for them to stay together. They do get into some fights, but it's not all that contentious. They seem to be on the same page about the split, want it to be as painless as possible, and they still love each other, and they're very friendly. They go through the legal trauma, financial trauma, emotional trauma, physical trauma, which is shown in the coast-to-coast, nature of their divorce. They're trying to, make the divorce happen between living in New York and living in LA, and that leads to fatigue and that sort of thing. The movie plays like it doesn't take sides, oh, they both had their faults and that's why the divorce is happening. But personally, I felt like there was someone who was to blame in their divorce, or who was at fault. But I wouldn't divulge that. I'll let you decide for yourself. In terms of the acting talent and the acting performances, I thought Adam Driver was really special. He played his character with a thoughtfulness and a believability and an emotional vulnerability that really sold his side of the story. Also, Laura Dern, who plays a shrewd lawyer, was excellent. Although, to be honest, she was just playing herself, much in the same way that Tom Cruise plays himself in many movies, or Ryan Reynolds plays Ryan Reynolds in many movies, or The Rock plays The Rock in many movies, or Kevin Hart plays Kevin Hart, and so on and so forth. Scarlett Johansson, she was okay to mixed. She was quite naturalistic in the sort of more mundane, day-to-day, normal acting scenes. She seemed to be at ease with herself in the role. But the emotionally heightened parts of the script, they seemed stilted. It seemed very forced. She just didn't sell me on them. The child actor was believable. Wasn't excellent, wasn't bad. He didn't really have too much to do, which is quite surprising for this type of film. The film is obviously very comparable and is, sort of a sibling or a child to the 70s film Kramer versus Kramer. Kramer versus Kramer is it's an all-around better film, to be honest. I grew up on Kramer versus Kramer, so I know the film very well. I watch it, once in a while. It's an all-round better movie. It's a more emotionally impacting film. It's definitely a lot more devastating. Marriage Story's cinematography was quite good. It's shot on photochemical film reel, actual film, not digital photography. And it's evocative of the 70s. It has that, sort of gritty, grainy, look to it. The film has some good visual storytelling techniques to communicate the couple's separation and isolation. Some shots where they'd show a character in one location, probably looking sad, and then immediately they'd sort of merge it with the other character in another location, looking isolated and sad. It's nothing mind-blowing, but it certainly, did some stuff to, tell the story visually, not just in dialogue. The score was classical. Reminds me of the same type of score that was used for Kramer vs. Kramer, but it wasn't as resonant or indelible. It worked in the film and was well placed and well used, but I don't remember it, and it's nothing that I'm going to, go listen to on Spotify or purchase or anything like that. Overall, I like Marriage Story. I feel it's well made, but it didn't make divorce seem as painful as it can be. It was definitely stressful for both couples, and there was definitely an emotional cost. There was a financial cost, but I think there wasn't a lot of dramatic tension. The split was too amicable, and it seemed like a breakup. It ended on quite a hopeful note with, both couples, getting along and that sort of thing. Kramer versus Kramer just takes it to another level. And if you've seen Marriage Story and like Marriage Story, if you're interested in Marriage Story, you have to see Kramer versus Kramer. It's a movie that holds up. Don't worry about, it's an old movie and I'm not going to like it. It's going to be outdated. Marriage Story is just as timely or timeless as Kramer versus Kramer is timely and timeless. In Marriage Story, a lot of the fights didn't seem real. It seemed like the acting was off, and I put that really a lot on Scarlett Johansson. It seemed like she was reading her lines of dialogue off a prompter. Maybe it was because the scenes were quite long and there was a lot to memorize. There weren't many breaks, but that was something that really bothered me. I'm really surprised to hear that there's awards contention for Scarlett Johansson's acting. In the parts where she really had to pull her weight, it just came off like she was on a stage play. So Marriage Story is a well-made movie, but it leaves me wanting. Much like Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver's characters were unable to reconnect. I'm unable to reconcile the claims about what this movie accomplishes with the imperfect end product that it is. And there's my review for Marriage Story. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to discuss with me, you can find me on Twitter at LiveLoveLupe. Please do us a favor and like and comment and subscribe to this video. And we'll be coming at you with more reviews, more podcasts, more incredible stuff. And till then, stay excited.